Good morning, good morning. Don Boy 718 is actually here now. We starting the city of New York. And I mean, that's where we at. We love it out here. The temperature's up and down. We haven't been having the best, but it hasn't been the worst. It's getting better. Sports world, y'all. We thank everybody for getting up this morning. If you had breakfast or not, or if you're still partying. I saw some folks still partying today on the other side of Bushwick, and I seen some folks in Williamsburg. So Brooklyn is lit right now. They have maybe some morning time, daytime parties, or they have these parties that go from the Friday night through Saturday morning. You know what I mean? So be aware for that. We're gonna have one of those on 9/11. So stay with us and stay tuned, stay supporting and all that. Now, Don Boy 718 talking about the NBA. What happened last night? We're gonna get into that and what's been going on. Also, we're gonna talk about the NFL draft, the big news, the stuff that's been happening, the development, and these teams getting better. We're gonna get into this because this is where it's at. You know my New York Giants, they had some picks in this draft. Two top 10 picks, number 5 and number 10. But the first overall pick was going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders, they got the number 1 pick and they was automatically going to select Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza from the Indiana Hoosiers, Indiana University. They've been undefeated the whole year. Not one loss. And it's been just something crazy. Shout out to everybody that's listening. We love you. You know what I'm saying? Radamp. Fernando Mendoza, he was representing, holding it down out there in Indiana. I actually had the liberty of being able to be invited and have a chance to go to the game to see Fernando Mendoza actually play. But like I tell y'all the story over again, my boy DC, you know, he talked me out of going instead of me going because I had the wrong directions from Google, and that's a whole nother story. I should have listened to Midwest, because Midwest did tell me to, you know, go a certain direction. It was about an hour away, but Google was telling me 2 hours. But Fernando Mendoza, anyway, he was drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders, they select him, and he is selected to be one of the best options in the whole draft. There were not many quarterbacks that were out and available for this draft. There were, I mean, especially on a potential or elite value, where teams will look at them and say, these guys, this is our future quarterback. Fernando Mendoza, he's one of those, and he was heavily considered to be one of the guys for this Las Vegas team. This is one of the reasons why they picked him up, because the Las Vegas Raiders, they were not going to just go into it and Tom Brady not be happy. So Tom Brady, he automatically let them know who he wants to be able to snatch up. And it happens that when this happened, Fernando Mendoza is the guy. We're gonna go back round 1, bada bing, bada bing. Fernando Mendoza, as I say, this guy's supposed to be a good quarterback. He could throw strong. He could take some hits. The guy threw for 41 touchdowns, okay? He was ranked number 1, 92 grade, 6'4", 236 from out of Indiana. And that says a lot right there, because this young man going out there and going to step out to get new coaching. They were comparing him to Joe Burrow. Remember Joe Burrow? Over here, he played for Clemson. Now he's over in Jacksonville. I mean, not Jacksonville, but he's in Cincinnati with Jamar Chase. So shout out to Jamar Chase and to Joe Burrow. because that Cincinnati team, they were trying to put things together out there too. But Cincinnati, they made some news by picking up Dexter Lawrence before this draft had started. So Dexter Lawrence, this guy, the Giants did lose him, and he did go over there, you know, to Cincinnati to help them with their defense and to be able to get them more of a push and basically, you know, to make them look good. The number two pick in the draft, it was safety David Bailey. David Bailey, taken by the New York Jets. And this was serious. This was serious. Every draft pick, I'm going to give you the top 10. Top 10 that was taken. Fernando Mendoza, number 1. David Bailey by the New York Jets from Texas Tech. Texas Tech, they raised this boy right. David Bailey, he's one of the guys, if you did not see his videotape or see what he's representing, David Bailey definitely gets after those guys on the field, running back, wide receiver. He can help a team really do good. This is why I'm glad the Jets picked him up. He's a good edge that they're going to use. Texas Tech, as I say, let me tell you a little bit about this guy. 6'3", 251 pounds. This guy right here, he can run 4.5 in the 40-yard dash, which means that's a lot of power getting after you. You know, that's somebody that's going to, you know, knock you clean off your socks, you know what I mean, on the field. Somebody that's going to make you realize that you're playing a grown man game. So the Jets capitalized with that. David Bailey. Jeremiah Love, you already know about Jeremiah Love and what he's been doing as a running back for Notre Dame. The Arizona Cardinals, they selected him number 3. Jeremiah is one of them guys that he can tear the field up. He can get busy just like how Kenneth Walker III from Michigan State was drafted last year. I'm relying on this dude, Jeremiah Love, who a lot of teams wanted to be able to see him drop down a little bit to get picked. The Giants were probably going to take him at number 5 if they would have had a chance. However, we did the right thing because we had to make up for what we lost. And after Jeremiah Love, I think he's going to be a real effective guy for Arizona because now it's him and it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to give this team such a 1-2 punch that they just need a quarterback situation to be solved over in Arizona. Shout out to them. Now, when it comes to Cornell Tate for Ohio State being drafted at number 4, he's going to the Tennessee Titans with a Cam Ward that needs a wide receiver and needs some dudes to be able to do work over there on that squad. The reason why Tennessee has not been winning is because Tennessee have not had the necessary weapons to get to where they need to go. Cam Ward, number 1 draft pick last year, and spent the whole year having a losing season with a team like that. Ooh-wee. You know what I'm saying? What we going to do about it? Just move on, right? Now, number 5, my New York Giants. Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese is a guy that gets after the quarterback. He stops openings. He plugs holes and openings like boom. There you go. No more leakage. The sink is not going to run and spill over on the floor. This man is going to be a piece that the Giants can use. He's out of Ohio State. You know, he has real good coaching. He's 6'4", 241 pounds. And Reese is a hybrid edge. You know what I mean? He can, play off the ball. He's a linebacker who displayed great physical traits at the combine. He ran a 4.46 in a 40-yard dash. He has an explosive get off the ground and get after him type of, spin. He can get busy. Shout out to Tone, you know what I'm saying? Rhode Island in the house, you know what I'm saying? Blessing New England. I know y'all have seen this draft. It's real special. Even for someone like Arvell Reese, they're comparing him to Abdul Carter, which is looking great. This is a replacement for Dexter Lawrence, as I told you, who didn't want to stay around and no need in having somebody in camp or in the family if they don't want to be there. Go to Cincinnati. I think he was just disappointed about some things, but thank you, Dexter Lawrence, for what you've done for us in the past. And We don't thank you for the times you've taken time off of going through your lackadaisy breaks and being hurt. But we want to make sure that we are ready to go, and I think by putting Arvell Reese along with Abdul Carter, now we're going to have that punch, and Brian Burns, the veteran, are going to have to walk these guys through it and really make sure that we can really smash and break them up in the crumbs and pieces out there on the field defensively so that our offense can be able to just thrive. Let the offense thrive while the defense, give us plenty of time, because we're figuring it out. And I think we can be explosive this year coming up. This New York Giants team is going to be able to input Arvell Reese pretty well into the system. And shout out to him taking number 5 from out of Ohio State. How you think Ohio State and these guys were looking so good? Because they had a good defense. And he was part of that, a main part of it. Number 6, the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't know how the Kansas City Chiefs are right there behind the Giants with the 6th pick. And these guys, they had a okay season. They just didn't make the playoffs. They ended up taking Mansour Delaney from out of LSU. Mansour Delaney, good quarterback. Somebody that they need to be able to get after those wide receivers and those tight ends on the field. Somebody that can really swap passes and really get into doing what they need him to do. Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles, who a lot of people thought the Giants were going to take at number 5. They were like, yeah, the Giants are definitely fixed on Sonny Styles. I did not believe it the whole way. We looked at him and was interested, but we knew what we needed. We knew we needed people like Arvell Reese. We took Arvell Reese because looking at him versus looking at Sonny Styles, they were both kind of similar, but Sonny Styles, he does what he do, and Arvell Reese does what he do, and we realized that Arvell Reese edged them out in certain things that we need, like his speed and able to pick up, on the field, to be able to chase some of these offensive players down and be able to wake them up, introduce them to the NFL. You know what I mean? This is how it's going to play out. And shout to Sonny Styles, real good guy. He's out of Ohio State also. Him and Arvell Reese, those were the reasons why Ohio State was winning. They were on that field getting busy and making it look good. So that dudes like, I'm going to get to also another Ohio State guy, But Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, really good wide receiver. He can make some plays. He can be able to scramble on the field. He can be able to do things that we need this guy to be able to make happen. But he's not on our team. He's on the New Orleans Saints. So that's going to be up to how they put that team together and allow him. I think Spencer Rattler over there in New Orleans as quarterback. But Jordan Tyson is going to have to really bring it, because he can be in there. You can be as nice as you want to in college, but don't be like a Marvin Harrison Jr., get into the NFL, and then we know you have it, but then now we realize that there's a problem at the quarterback position, and they had Kyler Murray. So Marvin Harrison Jr., he was forced to try to play make, and then I think he eventually got hurt a little bit, but he's going to have to make his way back. He's going to make his way back. So he's going to be good now that he has a running mate, with him, that's going to be able to get them busy like Jeremiah Love. So shout out to Arizona. But Sonny Styles, Ohio, Washington Commanders is where he's going to be at. Why did he have to go to one of our main opponents, to one of our main enemies in the NFC East? Tone, I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Why would he go to the Washington Wizards even though these players don't, the Washington Commanders. I don't know, I'm thinking about something else with these guys. And Washington, it's just something about Washington, I don't really want them winning. That's where 1600 Pennsylvania is too. There's something about them it's a losing town. But they're trying to make their way up. Give Sonny Styles, he would give that defense a good push, even though they don't have Brian Bieniemy no more, and he's moved on. But this is an improvement for them to actually see if they can make the playoffs again. But I'm not worried about Washington making the playoffs because they're in the NFC East with my New York Giants. So these two partners, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, are going to be main competitors now. They played for the same team. Same team now. You know, when they was in Ohio State, now on a professional level, they're in the NFC East. So they up for the battle. These two can be the future of the NFC East if they do right. But Spencer Fano from Utah at number 9, taken by the Cleveland Browns. Spencer Fano, if y'all have not watched this young man play, Spencer Fano is pretty chill. He's an offensive tackle. He's going to be able to help them and bring some good protection because Fano, he dedicates himself to protecting. Just like the number 10 pick for the New York Giants, Francis Magoa. I'm so glad they picked them. That's who I wanted them to pick. We need that help on the offensive line. And the Giants, we can really do some great things. I love it. I'm just ready. I can't believe it. I'm so excited to see how this camp is going to open up because they've already had voluntary training camp start already. Voluntary training camp has already started in the NFL, even though there were no games to be played right away. And you're like, this is the spring. They're going to play through now through the fall. No, they're just practicing now, getting ready. Because you know in the summertime, in a few months, they're going to be starting off the preseason for football, the NFL. And Francis Magoa, this is what we needed. This man, he's going to be able to protect Jackson Dart at 6'5", 329 pounds. I dare you try to get to the quarterback. 6'5", 329. I dare you try to get to my man Jackson Dart or mess up with Scatterbull. You know what I'm saying? This is going to open up the lanes so that we can really get things done, so that we can really drive now, so we can be able to make sure that Malik Neighbors has no problem going out there and being a threat in the field, being a playmaker that we know he can be. You know, this New York Giants team is going to look real special. Magoa is light on his feet and can quickly get to depth. They said this guy, he moves pretty fast. This guy, he knows how to block. Magoa also plays with good balance, allowing him to change direction to mirror and pass protection, which means that he can be able to cover whatever we need him to do on an offensive level. And I'm respecting that because Francis Magoa, if y'all did not see him, how do you think Carson Beck was looking good in Miami? Who you think was holding him down? Francis Magoa, right here. You know what I mean? Francis Magoa is going to be a name to remember for a while. And the Giants, this is right on time for us, for what we need, because we've been having offensive line problems, and we've been playing around, dancing around, drafting one or picking up something in the free agency, but we've been working with what we had. You know, now we have a new coach in John Harbaugh, and so with John Harbaugh, you know, we want to make sure that this team provides all the pieces that he needs to try to get this victory and making this season way better than last year, make the playoffs, and go as far as we could, because we want to be relevant again. And we think we have the team to do that. I believe we do, the New York Giants. But those are your top 10 picks. Also interesting names that were picked up, Caleb Downs, another one from Ohio State. Ohio State is just dominating the draft with all these good players. Ohio State was in the big game. They was there last year. You had teams like, if you want Ohio State, Notre Dame's, the Florida Gators, you know, teams like this, Indiana Hoosiers, you're going to be watched because you guys were the life of the party. The life of the party for NCAA football. And those NIL deals might have helped inspire some players to play tougher and to play better. But now you're going to get more bread in the NFL if you do the right thing. And you show that you have developed and you are ready to be a professional. That's big talk, Tone. But look, Caleb Downs, I'm not happy that Caleb Downs, a very good safety out of Ohio State, was taken by Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys, they always watching what we doing. The New York Giants, they always trying to compete, and this is what they bring us. You know, they take Caleb Downs, knowing that he was on our draft board. But at the same time, we knew we wasn't going to be able to get him because we had our sights set up on what we needed, like Arvell Reese and Francis Magoa. Let this happen right for the New York Giants. Shout out to the New York Giants. You know what I'm saying? They doing their thing, and I just want to see this. But Caleb Dales, the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to be happy to have him. Very good safety. He's strong. He's quick. You know, that offensive line in Dallas, they going through some things. But now they'll have a little bit more time to get it right, knowing that Caleb Downs is on the defense and out there trying to get him the ball back so they can score or do some things. And I'm not celebrating for Dallas. Caleb Downs, I wish he'd have went somewhere else more deserving instead of those Cowboys out there with that star and that disappointment and that treatment from Jerry Jones. You don't want Jerry Jones mistreating, you know, good talent like this. And you know what you gotta look forward to. You know, Caden Proctor from Alabama went number 12 to the Miami Dolphins. That's an offensive tackle. He's going to be able to help with the protection of Tua Tagovailoa, provided that Tua is also going to stay there at the starting quarterback position, because there was some talk about maybe getting rid of him or putting him in the back as they get another main quarterback to start, because Tua has always been getting hurt or with the concussion protocols and such. He hasn't been around much, so they need a much more vibrant quarterback, somebody that's going to survive and actually be on the field. And somebody that's going to be protected by Caden Proctor from Alabama. Another Alabama product, right after this offensive tackle was taken, the guy that he was protecting, Todd Simpson, was taken by the Los Angeles Rams. And I know you say Matthew Stafford is over there. Why would they need to pick up Todd Simpson? Well, because think about it. Matthew Stafford's been around for a while, and this gives this good veteran or this guy to be able to mentor and to help Todd Simpson make his way into the NFL and become that guy, or become one of the guys at some point. Well, shout out to them. Olavega Yoni from Penn State, another offensive guard. A lot of offensive tackles, and teams read up on frontline protection for their quarterbacks. In this draft here, there were a lot of offensive tackles, offensive linemen, and there was some wide receivers and some edges and safeties. Teams knew specifically certain things that they need. You need protection, and you need somebody to stop that other team. You need people out there in the field swatting passes and doing things like that. And that's stuff like what Caleb Downs was doing on defense, swatting down passes so that guys can be able to play their game, get the offense another chance to be on the field and to score. So you got a good defense, your offense has a good chance at going further, because that defense is going to help clean up some messes. They ain't going to be perfect, so you can't just mess up completely. But teams have won championships with good defenses and mediocre offenses. It's not like basketball. It's not like the NBA. Football is totally different. And then my boy Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami. That edge, if you don't know who Ruben Bain Jr. is, you're bugging. You was not watching college football last year. Who you think was crack snacking and popping these dudes on the field from Miami to help get them Hurricanes in that championship game? Carson Beck and them dudes were happy to know that Ruben Bain Jr. was on the defense for that team. And who you think was cleaning up the mess? Ruben Bain Jr. on the defense, snap, crackle, and pop, like I say, boom! And then you got, on the offense, Francis Magoa protecting Carson Beck and making a way for Malachi Tony to be able to get busy. And this is why I'm very excited to have Francis Magoa on the Giants. But shout out to Ruben Bain Jr. And these are the picks. Other notables and good folks, there was some talent here. But I want to say Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon, the tight end taken by the New York Jets. He could be a game changer for the Jets because they need a tight end, somebody that can really catch the ball and block. A tight end's job is very special. So give them their credit and for what they do. You know, tight ends, they have a very unique position and they should get paid pretty good. This guy has a 43.5-inch vertical. That's a good jump. He's showing athleticism with that right there. But Kenyon Sadiq is going to be pretty real. I'm loving what the Giants are doing, you know, right now. Let's continue to go to 20. Kenyon Sadiq, then Blake Miller from Clemson, taken by the Detroit Lions. This is another offensive tackle. Then Caleb Banks from Florida, good defensive tackle. This is how the Florida Gators were able to make their way up there because Caleb Banks, he tried out for the Giants and a few other teams. This man here, he can block. He's a good guy, you know. He is one of them dudes that he does a good job of slipping blocks and getting in there to be able to reach that front line and get to the quarterback and create problems. So Caleb Banks, you're going to see what he does for Minnesota. The Carolina Panthers drafted at number 19, Monroe Freeland from out of Georgia. You know he's a protector. This is why Gunnar Stockton, you say, how does he get that much time in the pocket? Well, guys like Monroe Freeland in the Kirby Smart system, which actually helped this Georgia team look good. So Monroe Freeland, I think that Carolina caught a steal by taking him at number 19. And at number 20, you have Makai Lemon from USC. Makai Lemon, pretty good wide receiver. This is the guy you want. He can play make out there in the field. He's pretty quick. He can be a deep threat. And I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles picked him up. I'm not celebrating for them because I don't want Jalen Hurts and them having any more weapons to be able to hurt my New York Giants in that NFC East. A lot has to be different when it comes to this. This is why we needed this better defense, and we're ready to go. Tone, I'm telling you. DC, I'm telling you. Midwest. You know what I mean? It's getting wild, y'all. It's getting wild out here. Just know that this NFL draft, it brought the lights out. Chris Johnson from San Diego State, he was taken by the Miami Dolphins. They need another cornerback. They took a safety, now they got a cornerback. They have some young talent that can really, speed it up and go out there and catch up to those offenses out there that's trying to destroy them. Slow them down, give the offense a chance to get back on the field and get busy. Omar Cooper Jr., another good one to watch from Indiana. Who do you think Fernando Mendoza, the number 1 overall pick, was throwing the ball to? Omar Cooper Jr. Indiana was being lights on with this guy right here because he lines up pretty good in the slot. They comparing him to Rashee Rice, but I'm thinking that maybe Omar Cooper Jr. could be a little better than Rashee Rice if he develops well and they give him what he needs, like the good protection and development. Because this guy, if you didn't see what he was doing all year, they have not lost a game. They were undefeated. And Omar Cooper Jr. was the number 1 wide receiver on the Indiana Hoosiers. The champion Indiana Hoosiers, excuse me. He did a lot of touches, a lot of targets. This man, look out for him. He's going to be very productive. We don't know who the Jets quarterback is going to be yet because they had brought back Justin Fields. They brought him in. Remember Justin Fields, when the Pittsburgh split, Justin Fields went to the Jets, and then the Giants, they took this other guy who went too good, Russell Wilson, and it didn't work out. So we're going to have to see how this plays out for the New York Jets because they have some pieces that they picked up, but how are they going to use them? Between Omar Cooper Jr. on offense, and then they have David Bailey on the defense from Texas Tech. The Jets are up to something. We just don't know yet. To end the first round, Jadarian Price was taken by the champion Seattle Seahawks. Jadarian Price from out of Notre Dame. This guy's a pretty good prospect. Nice running back. He Yeah, I'm not gonna say he was like Charbonnet on the Los Angeles Chargers, but he's he's all right. He's a pretty good guy. Pretty good guy. He's gonna be worth it, and I think it's gonna help the run game in Seattle. Even though they kind of have one already and they have a system in place, he's going to be grooming. He can help to make that team a little more special, provided he fits in and learns the playbooks well and take the coaching, the way that he needs to. But that's your first round breakdown. Second round, we had DeJuan Striblin. DeJuan Striblin out of Ole Miss is going to help the 49ers get back to defensive prowess, be able to go out there and bust some heads and knock some cats out and give them a chance to go further now. Because the 49ers have been an ever-changing team, for the last couple of years. They've lost pieces like Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commanders. They've had situations with Christian McCaffrey, and bringing in DeJuan Striblin can be an answer with what they need, because they need somebody out there for Brock Purdy to throw the ball to, and someone that can go out there and know what to do on the field and be able to spread the defense. So this is going to be DeJuan Striblin. That's a pretty good pickup for San Francisco. New York Giants at the number 5 overall pick in the second round. Colton Hood. Colton Hood, this cornerback in Tennessee, he did some great stuff. I'm looking forward to him. He tried. Even though Tennessee didn't go far or have a long run or something like that in the playoffs, Colton Hood, if you haven't watched this man play, he does his job, y'all. He does his job. Colton Hood been around for a little bit. 5'11", 193. He's a physical press on the corner who uses his length to disrupt receivers. He's knocked down, I believe it was 21 passes during this season that just passed. And as a tackler, he brings good stopping power because he has strength. Maybe he's hitting that weight room. Don't get the size twisted by some of these guys, because they might be lifting more weights in that weight room, getting ready to go, than some of these 6'5" guys, 6'4" guys. But just keeping pace. Just know Colton Hood is a real good pickup for the New York Giants, and they're comparing him to A.J. Terrell Jr. I know y'all know about A.J. Terrell Jr. from the Atlanta Falcons. So that's where we stand. Some more good pieces. There's been a lot. Zion Young, very good pickup for the Baltimore Ravens. Ready to see Baltimore go places with Zion Young, because he's a nice edge. He's a defensive threat. He goes out there, and he was first team All SEC. First team All SEC, which means that he's ready to go. He might be starting, or if he's not starting, he's going to be starting by the mid-season with what he's bringing to this Baltimore Ravens team. And I know that Lamar Jackson and these fellas, they start still scrambling to get things back and get to winning shape again after getting rid of Coach Harbaugh and some players that's not there anymore. But Zion Young, 6'6", 262, from out of Missouri, the Mizzou Tigers. That's a pretty good pick. I want to see how he's going to develop and what he's going to bring, and they're going to be able to use him pretty well. He's going to be bringing some problems to teams from the defensive end, making them think twice about throwing that way. And the NFL draft, there were so many players drafted. I'm not going to read them all and go through, but it's a blessing. It's pretty big. Bud Clark went to the Seattle. Shout out to the New England Patriots. shout out to him for losing the Super Bowl too. Forgive me, Tone, but you know, the New England Patriots, these guys, they went out there and they picked up Gabe Jacas. I didn't say Jackass, I said Jacas. Gabe Jacas. And Gabe, he was taken number 23 in the second round. 23 in the second round by the New England Patriots. And this young man, he's a former high school wrestling champion, which means that he's ready to get out there and get down and dirty and be able to, you know, figure four, people's elbow somebody on that field to be able to help New England win. So this is a good pickup for New England, and I think their defense just got better by picking this guy up here and what he's going to develop into. The Fighting Illini, this is one of the reasons why they were relevant, and I think that he's going to fit very well in their system. Yep. The number one pick in the third round, finally Carson Beck. Carson Beck, he just came off the NCAA championship. He just came off the NCAA championship, but he didn't win. First of all, just getting to the championship in football, whether it's NCAA or if it's the NFL, it's not easy. And Carson Beck could have easily gone a little higher in the draft. He could have gone just like Ty Simpson. Why was Ty Simpson picked up before Carson Beck? Ty Simpson, not taking nothing away from him, he's good. This guy, he can play, you know, Ohio State style, but Carson Beck, I could think has more to present. Carson Beck, he started off University of Georgia, and now he's in Miami. So he's come from different teachings and good coaching that has put him in a position to be better in that quarterback position. Now he's taken by the Arizona Cardinals, and he may be the guy. He has a chance out there in Arizona, now that Kyler Murray is gone, he can be in that consideration strongly for starting quarterback. So it'll be him as starting quarterback, and a few pieces that they've picked up like Jeremiah Love and Marvin Harrison Jr. If Carson Beck can act right, that's a nice young front that might be able to produce. So I would say they would have to really worry about their offensive line now, or how to protect these guys and create these openings, because Carson Beck, we've seen what happened. Francis Magoa, shout out to him again. I'm glad the New York Giants got him. We used to keep this guy safe and allow him more time in the pocket to get the ball out to Malachi Tony or one of the guys on Miami's offense, but to drop that offense. And Carson Beck, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. Rounds 4 and 5 are today at 12 o'clock noon. So I know many of y'all are up. Don't forget, the third part of the draft, rounds 4 and 5, is going on today, and I believe 6 and 7 closes out tomorrow. But the NFL draft is always amazing because it takes a weekend, it takes a few days. It's all love. You gotta give it up for the gridiron game. Let's get it. You know, this is the NFL, and Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence, two good pieces that the Dallas Cowboys have picked up, is going to help them think in their brain that they can actually compete with the Giants again and take the NFC East. But no, I think not. Because the New York Giants, if everybody does their job, including with the new additions of Arvell Reese, linebacker, and Francis Magoa working it out on that offensive line, we can make sure that Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence just be looking, watching greatness on the field, instead of having great rookie seasons in Dallas. The Big Ten, they had over 10 draft picks already taken. 10 people from the Big Ten were already taken. And this is something interesting because it lets you know certain conferences have more players and they have more schools that are actually productive. But now the Philadelphia Eagles, they signed Jonathan Greenard to a 4-round pick. They got a 2nd-round pick, but they signed him to 4 years, $100 million. So they're expecting some things out of Greenard. No slacking, no playing around, nothing like that. But they wanted to be on point and get it done. We're going to take a break, come back and talk some NBA. Because the NFL draft, we're going to have more follow-up on this later on our channel on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram. Thank y'all for paying attention to us on this and showing love. Don Boy 718. We here at Newtown Radio. So blessings. Shout out to Newtown, y'all.